what is it about spirituality you want to reform? What do you hate about it?
False promises. That it is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And what I mean by that is to me, it often feels like judgment wrapped up in, dressed as if it is love.
Mm-hmm.
That it encourages disempowerment. And undermines personal sovereignty.
In your experience?
Come on now. Is that not your experience?
To an extent. Yeah.
How big an extent?
How big an extent?
Let's look at these things. Do you agree or no? Do you think false promises are in all right, the wolf in
the difference between the word spirituality and religion for me?
And what do you hold to be authentic, holistic, wholesome spirituality?
I don't think there exists such a thing in evidence on the planet at the moment that I've come across.
Does anybody disagree with that? What an extraordinary statement, eh?
That's fairly profound.
I want to define our terms of reference clearly. We are examining ninth house experiences, the expansion of consciousness. It has been called spirituality, it has been called religion, it has been called a number of other things. Yet what we're discussing is the evolution of consciousness as an expression of human evolution, the highest expression of it.
Is a maximum honesty to yourself, who you are and what do you see in the world, and why do you see what you can see in the world. You can see both things you can accept and things you don't accept, but still they are both what you can see, and thus they are your reflection of yourself. So what do you do with this, what you see? With what you can see, what do you do with that?
Is faith a thought or a feeling?
It can be both.
Then I'm asking about the essence of it.
Then it's a feeling.
The words may not be beyond criticism, I don't know, but they're closer than anything I've come across so far. False promises, wolf in sheep's clothing, judgment dressed as love, encourages disempowerment and denies sovereignty. I mean, how much clearer do you want to get? That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with that. Yeah. We're not accepting that. If anybody comes along with that, we're saying we don't accept you. Go away.
Yeah.
Well, there is something to achieve. In the existence of a world made up of the best is the spiritual side, and that is false promises, a wolf in sheep's clothing, and so on. That's the best that most people can hope for. No, unacceptable. I can do better, and I reckon I can find a few other people that can do better as well. Let's get together and make it so. And what we're making so is a path through all this shit. And
Yeah.
if that tiny, tiny little track through all this shit becomes bigger and bigger because more and more people get what we're talking about, then
Yeah.
that will become equivalent to everything else, because people can choose. If they know about it and they get to choose, they can choose it. If they got the choice of light or darkness and they choose darkness, but if they choose light, then how can I help? What can I do to serve your needs? That's how I am trying to live.
So when you say, Sharon, you want to reform all of that, you want to put an end, these are my words now, not yours. So you want to put an end to all of what you've just said. I'm not asking you to tell me how to do it. I'm just asking you if that's what you want.
See, I don't want that.
Let's call a spade a spade. So let's define it directly without being judgmental, but just observing things. Let's look at it without judgment. It is what it is. What can I change? What changes can I make? Remaining true to myself and not deserting this battle, but doing something about it.
And I don't want it to change.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, Katrina, you want to bring everything that Sharon described to an end. James, you don't. What's your answer, Sharon?
Why don't you want to, James? What do you want to hold on to?
Not personally, I don't want to hold on to anything that you said. I want gone from everything that you said personally. But I want it to continue to exist because I approve of free will greater than I approve of any other aspect of God's divine gift to us.
Mm-hmm.
People want to make a mess of their lives. It's not for me or you to say, look, you're not allowed to.
Agreed. Hence the reason why I profoundly agree, actually, not just agreed as in, yeah, I agree, profoundly agree.
I wanted to bring this back to reforming spirituality and this, the existence of, are people flummoxed because all they can see out there in the world are false promises, wolf in sheep's clothing, judgment?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they are.
So I think Katrina and I, and I think both of you too, want an alternative, want the opposite of that. But you're saying, James, not for everyone, because you want there to be free will.
The first principle has to be free will.
Right.
Reform isn't what I'm looking for, because reform means I have to get involved with being an activist and doing something about what exists. I much prefer how James defined it. I've never had it defined that clearly in my own mind, James, so thank you. But I much prefer the definition. I much prefer the walk a path.
Yeah.
People will join you. The path will become a single track. The track will become a road. The road will become a mountain pass. Yes.
It would be lovely if we could identify more and more and more people that commit fully the way we have committed to the study of the practice of denying false spirituality and affirming creativity and love and I think the buzzwords that we like, and just knowing in the end, having faith that's enough. We don't need to be activists. That's enough. Promoting faith is our activism, if you want to give it that.
Nice. Yeah.
There is just one person to be explored, and it's who am I? And always giving this truthful answer will give this ability to explore for other people as well, because you will be an example of exploring.
I think that's absolutely what I agree with, of course. And you can't do it alone. You can only explore yourself in relationship. And actually, you can only explore yourself in relationship with people in a certain way, with certain people. Certain relationships don't take you any further, but other relationships really explore who you are. And I think what we're doing as a group is exploring nuances. I think we're moving into self-exploration in order that we can actually say, yeah, look, this is who I am, and I like it, I love it, and actually so do these people. We're actually all right. And I think that's extraordinarily unusual. Like all my life I've been looking for that and not find it. How bizarre is that you come up with a group of people that really, really like you, love you enough to want to know all the subtle expressions of you. Wow. This inevitably requires that the individual must go against society and its norms and rule in order to find their own unique true path. Imagine there being two whirlpools. One is clockwise and elevated, one is anti-clockwise and depressed. So the upward whirlpool is like a tornado, it's two energy forms which take the form of spirals that move you in an opposite direction. And if you examine life like that, you will meet somebody and they're either spinning the way of your spin or they're spinning against you. You can't reconcile it in the nth degree. You just won't do that. Eventually you have to decide whether you're spinning clockwise or anti-clockwise, because everybody's got a spin in the end. And I think the people that we meet, the scenarios we encounter, all that we do leads us towards a decision about which of the whirlpools to join. And that separates people. People will just make different choices and you won't come across them anymore. You don't have to do anything other than encounter people and decide whether you're on their side or not in the terms of which whirlpool you're spinning in. And one is more fear-based and constricted and selfish, and the other is more faithful and trusting and embracing of others. It's not defined so much as described, but it is fairly clear that the only people in my life are really wanting to move in my whirlpool-y direction. And there's a lot of other people going on that seem to create the news that aren't wanting what I want. And that's it, isn't it? You just decide whether or not these people, the people that you meet, the scenarios that you meet, are spinning in your direction. And if they're actually not, let them go. And in my case, I'm a bit radical. It's not only if they're not. I mean, everyone by definition in my life is spinning in my direction. I won't have them in my life if they're not. I've worked like that for some time. But now, if they're not fast enough, if the spin, they can't keep up with me, well then what's the point? They're not going to help me much, are they? If I can help them, that'll be fine for a while, but then I want to move on. So they're either my client. You just dance and invite people to join you, and you don't stop dancing if they don't join you. You just danced alone. It isn't more complex than that, and I don't even mean this metaphorically. I dance in outrageous places. I am apparently. This is one of the proudest achievements in my life. I'm the only man to dance alone in the 5-star Park Hotel in Kenmare. And it was so brilliant. The way that dance is sacredness beyond words, is music. I dance and like, you can dance in all manner of ways, but you just dance and you invite people, come and dance with me, for no other purpose than to dance with me. That's it. There isn't anything else we have to do. It's not as though this is metaphorical. You know, to me, it's absolutely obvious. You dance, you know, you might talk, you might do astrology, you might dance in that way, which is metaphorical, but in the end, you know, you ask people to join you in your way of living, you know, your way of being, and dancing is living in this moment. That's what dancing is the best example of.
Sometimes it's not only, you just have to you have to be ready to be on your own, and you have to leave. You have really desert. You have to desert.
Of course. It takes courage. It takes a huge amount of courage and strength to walk this path. Yes. Did you doubt that from the beginning? Of course, it's going to take all the courage you can find. Unusual in that we have the same approach to spirituality, and that is that nothing that we've seen is right. But when we get together, nothing seems to be very wrong. It seems all workable, you know. So this is it. This is what we've been looking for. And you know, I look at you and I think, really? Honestly, I was expecting some, at least, you know, Galadriel or Gandalf, at least that, you know.
Sorry, that's the point, James.
Ordinary people with bloody stuff to be my spiritual what evolution. But actually, I do. I really do. I've been living a life for decades promoting this very idea that saints are dressed in dungarees and ordinary clothes. You know, we're just all ordinary, even the best of us. And so, yeah, of course it's going to be like this. And of course it's going to be very mundane and very ordinary and like, yeah, until we do something like this today, and like one or two other things that we will be doing together occasionally. And we will do that, and we will get exalted, and we will tune into our angelic beings and be amazing for a moment, and then we'll come back and we'll chop wood and carry water, you know.